Right, I'm getting the red dot of death, so let's push it back. Right, I'm going to add another VST, so in all these boxes I can just keep adding on VSTs. So I'm going to add on a bit more reverb to this side. I'm going to pull it back, and I'm going to just pull that one back as well, so there we go. Oh yeah, bad boy. Right, so let's add another VST track. So I'm going to add an instrument. I'm going to select my VSTs. I'm going to look at something in Reactor again. So we're going to get the beach ball of death for a moment. Click on that one. And I am going to go to my laser bass once more, because that's what I want from what we're using at the moment. There we go. Right, so whilst my reactor is loading, I can be thinking about what I might want to play. So I'm going to probably play this a little bit higher up on the keyboard this time. So I got my bottom end, I got my bass line, so I'm thinking about maybe giving it a little top end signature that could sound kind of interesting. So here we go, laser bass is opened. I can click on my drop down box for this one, and I'll just pick something at random. Let's hope this is cool. Oh, that's absolutely perfect. Right, I can push the X button so I don't need to see it. I can push play. Right, so this will probably sound horrible because I haven't jammed this for any period of time. I've just pushed some buttons. And I'm just going to push some buttons again. I'm just going to push the keys on my keyboard and hope for the best. So, push play, hit record. Wait for that loop to swing round again. Right, so I've recorded craziness in, and I'm going to go back to, I'm going to double check my quantize. I'm going to leave it on 16. I'm going to go to MIDI. I'm going to over quantize just to pull all these little notes back into place, and I'm just going to listen to it again. Right, that to me sounds a little bit harsh, so I'm going to go to my inserts. I'm going to add a reverb to it just to make it a little bit warmer. So to it, I'm going to add a distortion just to make it sound a little bit crazier. Right, so that sound that I've just recorded in, I've added distortion, I've added room. To me it sounds a little bit too loud, so I'm going to go back to the top corner here, click on what it says reactor, and I can see this little half triangle here represents volume. So I'm going to pull the volume back a bit and listen to it. Yeah, to me that sounded pretty cool. So I could add some extra notes in here if I wanted to. I could double click on it and I can see all the notes that I've played, and I can see that there's one note there that I don't need to hear, and I can see up here the keyboard, so I can see the notes that I did play, and I can see a double note there, I can see a double note there. I get rid of those, and I'm looking at my track. That's pretty cool. So I could just delete one, click on it, push delete, and I could, so what is that note? So I can see a little grey area representing on this keyboard the note that I played. So it was a D sharp, and I could go back up and I could add a D sharp much
higher up just for interest. Now I need to go to my pencil tool, which would draw in. So I've got my scissor tool, I've got an erase tool, I've got a pencil tool. I could add in a note on that line at a D sharp that's much higher up, because I'm feeling crazy. There we go. So let's just hear how that sounds. I'll go back to my arrow, I can click further back in the tune and just push play. Right, I'm going to select that note, hold down control, pull it over here. I've got 2 of that note now. Just go back. I'm kind of liking that little sound, so I'm going to push it. I'm going to hold down control. I'm going to add it into gaps. So everyone can see a gap. I'm going to put it into gaps. Now let's listen to that. So I'm liking that. So we can cut up the sounds that we're using as well, and we could use our snip tool. So let's, oh hey, what the hell? Let's go back to 1s. No, let's go to 2s and snip around this little tune as well. I'm going to snip that area out, and I'm going to snip that area out, and I'm going to swap them round. I'm going to move this one right out of the way, move that one into that position, move that one into that position. Now let's have a little listen. Now that's pretty cool. So why not, while we're at it, let's make that little highlight stand out. So we got a breakbeat here. We're going to zoom in on it a bit so we can see the area that we want to mess around with. And I want to pick out that little sound. So I am going to put my scissor tool, and I'm going to work out whether my scissor tool can deal with that. No, so I'm going to go to 16s, and I'm going to snip there, and I'm going to snip there, and I am going to go back to my arrow. I'm going to highlight that area, and I'm going to delete it. So here we go. Why not? So why don't we just delete around those little tweakies? I'm going to just use my scissor tool, and I have no idea how this will sound, but I'm going to use my eraser tool this time. So that's a little, that one. I'm going to go do it, do it, do it. And I'm going to go back to my arrow, and I'm going to go up here. Okay, so I'm kind of happy with that. So now what I want to do is mix this track down. I played it with my friends. They're thinking, wow, you are a drum and bass god, Rich. I'm saying, yeah, I know. I want to send this to Radio 1. So I now need to be able to send this to Radio 1, don't I? I need to be able to get it out there to Dave Pierce. So what am I going to do? I am going to work on bouncing this down. So next tutorial is bouncing this down and getting it to Dave Pierce.